You asked for it, and here it is. Today we're building this beautiful Dollar Tree gift bag junk journal together. And we're going to decorate the cover with some Tim Holtz ephemera. If you want to learn how, just stay tuned. And first, we'll take a little trip down to Dollar Tree. I'm Ingrid Carlsen, and I am so glad you're here. If you're not already subscribed, this is a great time for you to do so. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Said this before, but I think bags are really great to make a journal cover with. And look at this gorgeous beauty that I found. It's so pretty with the florals, and it just screams, make me into a journal cover. Don't you agree? I'm going to walk you through the process here and there, but I will have the videos set to music so that I only talk during certain points. So I'm just showing you the bag here. It's one of their larger bags, and so there's really many different ways that you can make a journal using a gift bag. I'm just going to show you one way that I would do it. Also, because this bag is so large, you can actually make several journals from it. I'm going to start by removing the front flap of the bag as well as the sides, which will eventually be my spine. One of the ways that you can make a journal using a gift bag is by leaving the straps, which can be used as an element and maybe even for holding the bag together as like kind of a little purse. But I decided to opt out and not use them today. If you'd like to see me use them in another video with another bag, leave a comment down below. I'm showing you the whole process here, and to be honest with you, I was just winging it. I figured I'd turn the camera on and just start creating, and what I came up with is cutting the bag down to 6 3/4 by 9 inches, and I'm going to have 2 pieces of those, one for the front and one for the back. Then my spine is going to be 4 1/4 inches by the 9 inches. If you've watched any of my other journal making videos, then you're going to see a process that I like to use sometimes on my spines. What I'm going to do is score at 1/2 inch increments so that my spine has some bend and it's not so structured. I really like this aspect because I think that it feels really nice in my hands instead of it being like a square block. Once I have all of my 1/2 inch increments measured out, I'm going to just mark them with a pencil. Now, at this point, if you wanted to, you could do 1/4 inch, or you could do even smaller. You could do 1/8 of an inch. If you have a scoreboard, you can use it here, but I'm just going to show you how I do it using a ruler. Once I have my measurements, then I'm going to use the ruler to fold the paper up, and it's going to make my lines, and then I'll score them so that they're nice and sharp. I ended up cutting a little bit of the excess off and made sure that my sides were equal, both on the left and on the right. The bag that I'm using has some glitter on it. It's got some texture. And so I would recommend, if you are working with a bag like this, then to use some double-sided tape instead of a wet glue. The art glitter glue definitely did better than the other liquid glue, but I think in the long run, and if I was going to do it again, I would use double-sided tape or an ATC gun. I decided to follow my own advice and pull out my ATC gun, but unfortunately my tape ran out, so I'm only going to be able to glue this one page down. And I'm going to show you here, you're going to see the difference between the left side and the right side that has the ATC or the double-sided tape, that there is no buckling, no dry time. It's pretty seamless. The only thing is you don't have a lot of time to fidget with your paper, and mine was off just a little bit, and that was it. There's nothing else I can do about it. I have to just leave it. But the wet glue got on all of my surface. It was seeping through, even though I tried not to use that much. And I also got some buckling. Now, I don't mind the buckling because I think it looks pretty, but if that is something that bothers you, I would definitely opt for a dry glue method. When I'm building my signatures, I think I've said this before, I like to do it where it's kind of like a waterfall, where it starts off with the smaller papers in the front, and then it eventually gets a little bigger. You're going to see that there's some remainder of the music page, and I'm going to fold it up to make it into a pocket. As I finish up the journal, I decided against it because my journal was a little bit bigger than my journal was bigger than the papers that I used inside of it. So I decided to change the structure of it. And that's something that I do a lot. I have an idea in my head that I'm going to go for. And then as I get working, I just decide that I'm not going to do that. And I'm just wondering, is that something that you struggle with, or is it just me? When you're building your signature, you can get as detailed or not as you want. So meaning nothing is really set in stone. Even though I have a paper that is maybe full size, once I'm creating in my journal, there's nothing to say that I can't cut that paper down or I can't extend it by adding some tape and another piece of paper. So you can be as meticulous as you want in this area. In taking some of the guesswork to make sure that my spine is bound evenly, I'm going to make a template. I'm not going to go too far into it in this video, but if you'd like a more detailed explanation, I can definitely do another video on it. Just leave me a comment down below. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to fold it in half to find the center, and then fold it again upwards in half to find the true center. And then I'm going to make my holes according to that center point, and then I'll use that every time that I'm making holes for each of the signatures. In order to decide where I'm going to put each signature, I'm just going to measure it out, and since I've marked all the lines, it's easy enough to find those. I'm going to take a pencil and mark the lines so that I won't forget where it's going to be. I'm using a 5-hole pamphlet stitch because I think this is the most versatile stitches to use. It's also pretty simple, and if you don't know how to do one already, I will have a video link down below where I go over it. I'm going to link actually both a video as well as a short that goes into it in really good detail. Once I finished the stitching, I realized that the journal cover was a lot bigger than the inserts. And that was simply because I used inserts from my desk that I had been wanting to use, and I really didn't think about the size of it. So I played around with it for a bit to kind of see where this could go, if I could fold over the edges. That was my first guess. And then I decided to go ahead and cut the front cover down. And I'm removing probably about 2 inches. I will put here on the screen my final cover size for the width in case you're looking for it to be exact. And then I'm going to take some of the music paper out because I want to save it and I'll be able to use it later on. I actually end up using it on the cover, so it worked out okay. And then what I'm going to do is, since the front cover is smaller than the back cover, now the back cover can fold over to the front, and that will give me my closure. This gift bag is so beautiful. I love the colors and the florals with the stripes, but you know me and you know we're going to decorate it and we're going to add a bunch of layering to it. I'm going to start off by grabbing some Tim Holtz snapshots, and I'm going to pick a picture that looks the best. Now, I'll be honest, I've used most of the horizontal ones, or skip that. I have not used the horizontal ones. I've used most of the vertical ones, and this is the last one that I had in my pack. So I am going to use that one, and I think it just works the best with the layout. I'm going to layer it with some of the book page. This is twofold. One, because you already know that I love vintage music paper, but number 2, it coordinates with the inside of the book and it gives the book some cohesiveness. I'm grabbing some scraps that I have on my desk, including this piece of a paper bag, and I love using paper bags for decorating, specifically for adding clusters and texture because it's very thin, but it gives a really nice color and texture. Whenever I'm building layers, I also love using pages that are translucent. And here I'm using some, I can't remember if this is coffee dyed or bean dyed deli paper, and it just gives enough texture without adding a lot of bulk. And of course, since I'm decorating with Tim Holtz, I had to pull out my ephemera book and find some more elements to layer. I think I maybe went a little overboard with the layering. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Is there ever a time where you're like, there's too much ephemera? Because I have not gotten to that point. So I keep building and building. But in the long run, I absolutely adore the way that it came out, and I think that it's worth the bulk. When you're building a cluster, something to keep in mind is what kind of emotions you're going to evoke from your clusters. And so in this case, my photo is of a pilot, and he's in black and white. He's kind of scruffy. It, looks like a sunny day. And so to balance that out and to bring in the cover, which is already full of florals, I'm going to layer him with some florals. But then to balance it back out, I'm going to use some elements such as text and numbers to bring back some masculine touches. I love playing with the balance of girly and industrial, and I think that in the long run, the composition works really well. I still don't know what this little button closure thing is called, but I am adding one to my cover because I love them. It's probably one of my favorite decorating elements, or at least for closures. They're just, I don't know, just brings me back to office supplies and the inner office envelopes that I used to have to send out. And I just love it. It's so simple, but I love it. And of course, I'm going to cover it with some vintage music paper, and it just takes it up to one more notch. For the closure, I'm using this vintage fabric that I have, and I've used it before. I just absolutely love the green and the cream together, and I think it complements this journal so beautifully. So we are just about done, and I hope that you were inspired today to make your own gift bag journal. And if I had to make a guess, I would say you probably have some gift bags, if you're anything like me, stored in a closet somewhere. So you can go grab one of those out right now. You don't necessarily need to make a trip to Dollar Tree, even though it's always a good time to go to Dollar Tree. But you can make one of these of your own. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you were inspired, and I hope that you are blessed. If you haven't been told today, you're beautiful, you're perfect, and you are lovely. And I thank you so much for being here. I thank you for all of the love and comments. They mean the world to me. I am still behind, but I'm trying to get caught up. And I just want you to know that I do read them. I just have not had a chance to respond to all of them. But I thank you. A big, big, big thank you to my Patreons. I love you guys so much. And until next time, see you later. Love you. Bye. Oh, and by the way, if you're not already subscribed, this is a great time to do so. Oh, and if you forgot to give the video a thumbs up and you were meaning to, this is a great time to do that as well. Okay, see you later. Love you. Bye.